Fine. We're ready.
All right, call to order, Joliet Township regular board meeting for Tuesday, October 11th. It is 5 p.m. All rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Attendance, please.
Sure. Trustee Escutia?
Here.
Trustee Farrell?
Here.
Trustee Ibarra?
Here.
Trustee Slattery?
Here.
Supervisor Contreras?
Here. Okay. Our first, we need approval for the minutes for our regular town board meeting for September 13th, 2022.
I move that we approve the minutes from September 13th meeting.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
I would like a discussion about the meeting minutes.
Okay, well, would you like to discuss?
So me and
Trustee
Ray brought some concerns about just the way that the billing was done, and I would have expected to see those on the minutes. And the minutes seem like a very skeleton idea of what happened at the meeting. Well, I know that you don't need a verbatim account of the minutes. I would have liked those directives that me and Ray to been recorded in the minutes. I know you don't need verbatim, I understand exactly what you need, but I would have liked the directives that we asked for.
Okay.
Now, to clarify, I said at the end of the last meeting that I would like to see that something would be done trying to get the bills approved beforehand. And not necessarily for this meeting or whatever, just some type of program or something. And I think this is what Suzanne is talking about, that nothing was mentioned in the minutes on that.
Okay, just to add the wording,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll make note and then make sure
Yeah.
it's included. Okay. Anything else?
So,
Anything else? So, second?
I second it now.
Roll call, please.
Sure. Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Ibarra?
No. Okay.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you. At this moment, does anyone have any public comments on anything? Yes, please, come on, yeah.
Do you need an interpreter?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Do you want me to translate or you want to translate?
It's up to you.
Do you want to go ahead? Well, I can take notes.
Sure.
Hustler.
Gracias. Entiendo mucho inglés, pero hablarlo no es muy bueno para mí.
I'm able to understand English, but speaking a little struggle.
Mi nombre es Patricia Ovalle
My name is Patricia Valle.
y acabo de abrir una nueva organización que se llama Golden Star Casa de la Cultura.
I just opened an organization called Golden Stars, Casa de la Cultura.
Este programa tiene más de 20 clases y actividades para todas las edades de toda la familia.
This organization has over 20 programs for the entire family.
Comenzamos de 7 años para arriba, no hay límite de edad.
We start as young as 7 years old, all the way up, there's no limit to it.
Y una de las cosas principales que quiere enfocarse esta organización es para que nuestros jóvenes estén alejados de lo que es la depresión, la ansiedad, lo que son las malas compañías, los malos actos, que haya menos intento de suicidio en los jóvenes, y es por eso que queremos, y es que vayamos despacio. Okay. Y es por eso que queremos que ellos tengan actividades y creatividad donde puedan sacar sus dones, sus talentos, con clases de arte, música.
So one of the biggest priorities for us is to focus on teens to get them away from anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. And this is done through various activities, hands-on activities, and to also deter them from going outside and getting into trouble, right?
Entre las actividades hay música, arte,
Music, art,
bailes
dances,
y mucha cultura que siga creciendo, que no se olviden las raíces culturales.
we integrate cultural activities so they don't forget roots.
En este momento tenemos clases ya activas de piano, guitarra, canto, danza azteca, bailable folclórico.
We have already started these programs, so we have piano classes,
Guitarra,
guitar classes,
canto,
singing, and dance,
piano, danza, dibujo.
arts and crafts and dance.
Y queremos tener muchas más actividades que ya las tenemos en una lista, solamente estamos buscando un espacio más adecuado para poder dar nuestras clases.
We already have other activities that we do want to integrate, however, we're looking for the space to be able to conduct this.
Queremos también hacer que nuestros jóvenes más que nada tengan también un poco más de contacto con los padres y que hacer jóvenes líderes en la comunidad.
We want to make sure that our teenagers are more in touch with their parents and connect with them and become leaders within our community as well. Any questions?
Yeah, so the program is already going, but do you right now have a space that you operate out of?
Por el momento nos prestaron un espacio en una iglesia. Solamente nos lo prestaron mientras podemos encontrar nuestro propio espacio.
So they are leasing, or when they're actually using the space within the church, they're not paying for it, this is temporary until they are able to find it.
Y otra cosa, todas nuestras clases son completamente gratuitas, no cobramos absolutamente nada para que los padres no pongan en duda de enviar a sus hijos a tener una actividad saludable.
So there is no charge for any of the activities for the families, so the parents are not hesitant to send their kids to.
A veces los niños que más talentos tienen son los que menos posibilidad tienen de un gasto.
Many times the kids who are the most talented in these activities are the ones who they can't afford.
Right,
those types of activities.
¿Y ahorita cuántos más o menos alumnos tiene? So I
Ahorita-
asked her how many kids do they have participating?
Ahorita tenemos alrededor de 60 estudiantes y tenemos un mes y medio activos.
We have about 60 students, and it's been about a month that we're doing. And you can find them on the agenda, sorry.
I think we had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Y las
no, yeah, no, go ahead.
las llamadas y de personas para seguir llenando aplicaciones siguen llegando cada día. Tenemos de 3 a 4 llamadas al día para personas que están registrándose.
So currently, they're receiving about 3 to 4 phone calls a day of people trying to register for their programs.
Para el día 20 de este mes, perdón, 19 de este mes, vamos a comenzar una nueva actividad que es charlas y actividades con jóvenes especificando temas donde ellos puedan entender si tienen un problema en la escuela, cómo aprender a resolver ese problema. Y si tienen problemas en casa, también cómo aprender a solucionarlo de una mejor manera. Es prácticamente donde nos vamos a enfocar más en alejarlos lo que es de la depresión, ansiedad y todo eso.
Okay, so the 19th of this month, they're actually starting a new activity. It's kind of like different talks with the teenagers, and this is focusing on how to be able to de-escalate maybe negative situations happening at school, as well maybe initiating conversations at home that may be difficult to advocate for. And they're teaching them different ways to cope and also to deal with mental health. members of the public ask questions? Yeah. Yeah. So do you have any, professional mental health on your staff?
Tenemos una persona especializada por muchos años que va a estar apoyándonos en esa área.
There is someone specialized.
Y de hecho los personas que están yendo a dar las clases son personas que saben hacer su trabajo, pero lo están yendo a hacer voluntariamente.
And the people who are conducting the classes, they have done these previously.
And it's free.
I notice here in the grant application that you expect 60 to 125 people a month. What would your turnover be over, I mean, are they the same people, or are they new people, or, you know, basically, how often does your population turn over?
Entonces, más o menos esperan 120 personas al mes. ¿Qué tan frecuente cambian estas personas?
Bueno, queremos que se mantengan las mismas personas hasta que hayamos logrado algún objetivo, que tengamos un resultado de cada una de ellas. Entonces, hasta ahorita la gente ha estado muy contenta. A lo mejor es un corto tiempo, pero mismas mamás nos dicen que en qué nos ayudan porque les está gustando cómo están sus hijos en las clases.
Right now, they are expecting the same people to continue the program, so like a low turnover. They are saying that even the parents who have their children already signed up have asked how they can volunteer so they can continue the work that they see their children progressing.
So, let's
Pero
say,
siempre son bienvenidas más nuevas personas.
There's always capacity to continue adding on more individuals.
okay, but it's like if you start with 60, you're gonna have that 60 for a number of months.
Si empezamos con 60, vamos a mantener ese número por cierto número de meses.
Queremos tener como límite de niños por clase, pero si van saliendo más voluntarios en dar clases, entonces podemos expandir más personas.
So they want to have a limit on certain activities for the children, but if they have more volunteers, then they can increase their capacity.
She'd say it was steady, like it's steady because it's objective based, so there's no ends, just, you know,
Yeah.
for what the mission is, that as long as, she said, so they don't want turnover, they actually want it to stay.
She got mostly, she said that age range of the kids that she get, but do you get mostly, grade school age kids, or junior high kids, or high school kids?
Más o menos se queda.
Or is it like everything?
Primaria, secundaria, preparatoria.
Ahorita tenemos de primaria, tenemos de secundaria y tenemos de hecho adultos en clases.
¿Y hay mayoría entre esos edades o?
Sí, tenemos niños de 7 años, de 7 a 13, tenemos de 13 a 18 y tenemos mamás como en los bailables también.
So yeah, they do grade school, middle school, and adults.
Are there referrals from the church
¿De dónde
for the
llegan?
program, where are they all?
¿De dónde llegan los participantes?
Nosotros nos dimos a conocer en el desfile, estuvimos repartiendo flyers y toda la gente nos vio en el desfile y en el evento del Music Latin Fest.
Yeah,
Ajá.
yeah, I was there at the booth.
Yeah.
So they got themselves known through participating through the parade earlier in September, and through being at the Leda event.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw you there.
Siempre preguntamos en la aplicación cómo se enteraron de nosotros y tenemos esos 3 llenos de lo que fue el desfile, el festival y Facebook.
Okay, so on their application, they have, how did you find out about us? So they have the parade, the Leda event that took place, and to Facebook, so that's how.
Awesome, thank you. Are we voting on this today?
No, I think this is all, like last time, everything is all, just, there's no goals to it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for everything you do.
Yes. No, so you'll have a whole month to, anyone asks,
Awesome.
anything, follow-ups, still have the interviews. So this was just
Yeah.
the submissions. So none of the information you got from any of them is what, it's just so everyone starts having the information, and then we have a few weeks to ask questions as well.
It's really nice to have her here because we can put together the pieces of.
Correct, yep.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
And then if any other questions come in between time, that's what we have
Okay.
a few weeks.
Thank you.
All right, so, the only things we're not voting on anything today. We just have, the new business, you guys, trustees have the new handbook in hand, just so you guys can review it as well. It's been about a year trying to get it updated, and modernized, so if anyone has anything else that, just look over it, we have time. Nothing's being approved on, it's just, so you guys have it, and any concerns of anything, so we can bring them up later on.
Awesome.
And then the third quarter grant application, so Forest Park Community Center put something in, the Tony Medina Youth Center put something in, and then Golden Stars that just spoke put something in. So I do have a few edits. Trustee Barrow did call me in, and that the Tony Medina Youth Center only put in $1 on there, what they're asking, so that was a mistake. I called them and I told them to please email what the proper amount was so I can let you guys know. So as soon as I receive that, I will, let you guys all know individually what it was, but I'll email it to you and then I'll tell you once I get that response,
you.
because they made that mistake. And now we go on to, if no one has anything on those, then we can move on to reports.
I
Yes,
have
sir.
one question on the handbook.
Yes, sir.
Is the road district gonna use the same handbook, or are you gonna have a different one?
We have our own handbook.
Okay.
Theirs
It can
is
be
updated.
provided to you, we've updated it since.
Yeah,
Yeah.
theirs is more modern than our, the township one, the 2012 was the last time it was.
So, yeah, it's been, the road district's handbook's been updated twice since 2012. Once
Yeah,
once since I've been there,
yeah.
yeah. It could be
Under
provided.
us old guys.
Yeah, it could be provided, if you ever wanna see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anybody.
and then we can send him over I think we did include it, if you guys want to include anything, but I think we just sent it over.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
One thing, Supervisor,
Yeah.
for our next meeting on November 8th, is that going to be an issue since it's election day?
Oh,
I mean, it's not, but we have time to move that, right?
We do.
Okay.
So I just asked because, we want to obviously encourage people to
Correct.
vote, and having this at 5.
All right, well, we can move it maybe a day or two. I'll contact all you, and then I'll go with Brian, give a few dates, and then we can just put out the notice early enough.
You are allowed to, if it's on a federal holiday and previously scheduled, but you certainly have to do that.
Okay, so I'll also contact everyone. So-
I do know, we used to do, because we had the, meeting down in Springfield. We used to have our meeting in November, either on the first Tuesday, or we'd have it afterwards, but usually we had it on the first Tuesday of the month, I don't know. if that-
Yeah, we can probably, I'll contact
Yeah.
everyone if that works, and, yeah, we're allowed, it's federal holiday, so we'll do that, and I'll get ahold of everyone as well, this week, before the end of the week,
Yeah.
so we'll have it gone. Okay.
do you have an update on the flagpole? as
Yes,
well?
I did, so they finished, the first part was finishing the stadium grand opening, they already started working on the flagpole, they took off and laid down what they had to, and they're gonna give me an actual date. What was her name that came out? Sorry, I just spoke to her, Friday. So that was what the holdup, so first was stadium, then the flagpole, cause I don't know if you saw, they did.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so that was
That's awesome.
first, and now that's next,
Okay.
so, yes. Okay. Reports, are you good? Good? No one else, anything else? Okay, highway commissioner, please.
I've been talking about a few things for a while, and I'm happy that some of them are moving forward. Specifically, our 5-ton weight limit signs we have about 50 of them out of 100. So we're about halfway done putting those out. Been getting some feedback from residents, instructing residents if they see somebody parking on the street or violating the weight limit signs to contact the Will County Sheriff's Office. They're the ones who do the enforcement, so we've been making that clear from our office to get that done. People are pretty excited about it, so that's good. And then we're moving forward. We have our bid opening Thursday. Hopefully we get some work done here before the end of the year. We just received approval, our plans received initial approval through environmental for Will County for our Sugar Creek plan. So those are the 60% plans. They had to get approval, and now we can move forward with the rest of that. So that's coming along very well. And our engineering firm, as I mentioned, on our Berger Avenue issue, our engineering firm is taking a comprehensive look at all the drainage issues, starting from private property on the east side of Briggs, where it dams up there. We're going to look at the drainage going underneath Briggs, west across the private property, going to Berger. We're going to see what the best case scenario for the area would look like, and then we're gonna, and they're already looking at that in a comprehensive way, and then we're gonna hopefully go to the residents with some things we can help them with, perhaps, or some suggestions for the area generally. Also, I talked to the engineer. He is the one who actually was in charge of Briggs Street, so he suggested that if there were changes that need to be made, he would be able to coordinate between a few of the municipalities as he has those contacts, and it'd actually be pretty easy to do. So I'm confident that if there's there's a solution, we'll be able to find it, and then we can go from there. So I'm actually encouraged on that. And I did mention on Berger, a private resident installed a culvert themselves on Berger. We just pulled it out today after serving a cease and desist and everything like that, doing it properly. So Berger continues to be a bit of a headache, but we're doing what we can over there. We're giving it a lot of attention, everything like that. So after that, it's been day to day. We usually do oil changes this time of year between now and when we begin to plow once a year every year. Those are about to start. Once the oil changes are done, we get plows on, get the trucks ready for winter. So that's where we're at. Like I said, day to day right now, they're still mowing, and now actually they're installing those weight limit signs. So it's good. And we've noticed beyond just people being happy, we've noticed some places where there are some trucks, there aren't trucks.
Yeah.
So even before anybody's calling, we're seeing some success with it, so that's great.
Awesome.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you.
Patricia?
Sue, Alejandra, and myself attended the Community Services Council meeting. It was one of the first ones that they've had in person since COVID. After the meeting, we met with Sean from the World Remedy Clinic to discuss their services and how they could be beneficial to our clients. Angel and I attended the 35th anniversary luncheon at Will County Center for Community Concerns to celebrate their anniversary and all the good work that they do. Angel and I were presented with a plaque for the township to recognize our partnership in the VITA program with them. I also met with them last week to discuss what our partnership is going to look like for the upcoming tax season, and we're going to work something out with them on that. They will also be at our office on October 26th from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. to take LIHEAP applications again. Sue and Alejandra attended the Seniors Resource Fair at Knoll Park, and they spoke with the attendees about our services and passed out little township trinkets. Sue attended the meeting of the MAP Collaborative, which is mobilizing for action through planning and partnerships. The focus of this group is bringing resources to the community through partnerships. Sue sits on the committee which addresses food insecurity. The GA department continues to be busy, and looking back at our records, we have not been this busy since 2018, pre-COVID. So it's kind of a good, it's kind of like a good and a bad thing, you know? Good that we're busy, bad that people need help. We're seeing more of what we call the new poor. We've had a large influx of clients that are dealing with health and mental health issues. So that's making what's normally a routine thing to do, it brings new challenges to it, but we're working through it. Alejandra was able to secure collection boxes from Toys for Tots, and our office will be an official collection site. I would welcome all of our staff and our board to participate in this program so that we can be successful. We have 2 boxes to fill. And other than that, it's business as usual. Questions?
Oh, the placards are.
Oh, yeah, the handicap placards. We do have handicap placards.
Oh,
So we're excited for the
So,
temporary,
yeah.
handicap placards now,
Yeah.
so we finally received them, so
Mhm.
no one has to go to the Secretary of State office anymore, anyone within Gillette Township boundaries can come here for the temporary disability placard, so, they got here last week, or the week before.
It was last week of September we got it.
Yeah, so they're here now, and we're now a provider for those.
Can you apply for them on the website?
No, you have to come in. Yep, but it's on there, they have to go. They have
The
to come in.
application's on the website, but the application has to actually, there's a whole section of it that has to be completed by their physician.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a case of coming down here and just filling out a form. It actually needs to be signed off on by a physician.
And then they come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's still better than going to the Secretary of State.
Yeah.
office. Yeah. That's it, thank you. Whitney?
September's waived adoption fees were a huge success. We were able to adopt out all of our long-term cats and dogs and kept the newer intakes flowing out relatively quickly. Although plenty of new animals are coming in daily, our kennel space is slightly over half full, which is more relieving than being overpacked like it has been. I've held more interviews for the weekend and holiday kennel technician part-time positions, with a couple of good candidates moving on to working interviews. Angel and I had met with Ben from SNP Society to discuss future collaborations with them to support low-cost spay, neuter, and vaccine programs for our community. Ben invited each of our vet techs to come in for a day to help with surgeries and get a full experience of what they do over there. We look forward to working on a program with them that will be mutually beneficial. September's been a whirlwind of a month, but things seem to be, for now, slowing down a bit, except I spoke too soon because today was wild. So, but I know you had a question too?
Yeah, going through the bills, I noticed one where we had to issue a refund check to Jennifer Papadopoulos. And I know her dog had some disease evidently, and we had to pay 3/4 of the bill to the vet.
Right.
And could you just expound on that?
Yes. So the puppy had gotten what's called parvo, which is a pretty deadly virus. But don't worry, this one made it through. She's okay. But what happens with that is that any dog that's not vaccinated for it can get really, really sick from it, and it basically causes them to get so dehydrated that they can't survive. If you get the vaccine for it, which all of our dogs, as soon as they come into our shelter, all the strays get vaccinated for it. However, the vaccine takes about 2 to 3 weeks before it actually becomes effective, right? So these dogs, parvo is very prevalent in the community and all over Joliet, all over Plainfield, all over everywhere, which you don't know because a lot of people's animals are vaccinated, but there are some that aren't, puppies, for example, some dogs who people don't really take them to the vet, that kind of thing. But what happened in this particular case is that we had a stray dog who had come in with it and was not showing the signs immediately. And after a couple of days, then it started to show signs. Well, they're contagious before they come down with the symptoms. And this puppy was being walked outside also and, must have picked it up out there. So we are, we had talked with our vet about what we can do, and there's not really any good option exactly, except that for any puppies that we get in that are less than 6 months, we're just not going to walk them outside anymore. You know, they can go play in a playroom, something like that, where we can effectively bleach it in between dogs, but no more puppies outside, because it's just it's too risky. And it can happen to older dogs as well, but usually for older dogs, their bodies are tougher and they can kind of fight it off a lot quicker and easier. It's a lot harder for puppies.
Yeah,
That's
just to add,
bad.
I guess, more specific to that, the puppy didn't have any symptoms, it got adopted, and then
2 days
later
Yeah.
to the vet emergency, so that's why that was the situation, so
Yeah.
they had no symptoms at all with animal control. And
Yeah.
then it was home for 2 days, and then emergency vet, they told us what it was, so we got it at the shelter.
Yeah, it was, the reason it caught my eye is because it was $2,900
I
that
know.
we refunded.
It's expensive.
It is. And had the puppy gotten it 2 or 3 weeks after they adopted it, we wouldn't have covered anything because it wouldn't have been our fault. But they essentially adopted it where it got it from us, and so we just did. And I know in our contract, it doesn't say that we have to refund anything, but I talked about it with Angel, and we had agreed, since it was from our shelter, that, you know, the right thing to do would be to help them a little bit.
But we did, we did talk to them, even asked them, you know, had tough conversations, and if they wanted to adopt another dog, you know, like those conversations were had.
Well, I think you did the right thing.
And then it was also, they did a good job of, just mitigating the damage and then taking care of the animals, like, when she said it was chaotic, as animals were coming in and trying to make sure that it wasn't spreading, because if it did, I mean, it would have got to a situation, if the whole shelter got it, then
Could have taken down all of our dogs.
it could have taken down every single dog. So, I mean, it was intense, those 4, first initially, then the weekend, and then like the whole week after too, just, you know.
So it takes 2 weeks from the moment of contract, or, you know, going around parvo to actually get sick. It can be up to 14 days. So we had to quarantine our animals for 14 days to make sure that nobody else was gonna spread it to anywhere. So that was hard.
So it was an intense situation. It was more than just the
But we made it
the
through,
bill.
we're good.
Yeah, so that
That's why I
was,
said September was a whirlwind, guys.
yeah.
But we're okay.
So ultimately, what happened to the stray that came in with?
That one actually had passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, well, by the time that cause he was a senior, you know, and by the time that he had started to show symptoms, he did not wanna eat, he didn't wanna drink, nothing. So we took him to the vet, and the vet, you know, kept him for a night, and he said, you know, he's just going downhill really quickly. My guess is that he was probably just never vaccinated his whole life, you know? But puppies and then senior dogs, they have a harder time fighting it, cause their bodies aren't as strong. So-
Can I ask, is that dangerous to humans too?
No, you actually can't get it, and cats can't get the canine parvovirus.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, it's species specific,
Oh.
so no worries. Yeah. Any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Ivan?
I don't have anything as exciting as Parvo, but we did finalize the audit, so thank you for the clerk for finally getting that file on time. You guys each got a copy, so if you guys read through it later and have any questions, you can let me know. But John, my Lesko, our auditor, gave us a clean bill of health, no significant findings. We're up to date with the gap, generally accepted accounting principles, so everything looks good. So if you look it over, have any questions, just let me know, and I get back to you on that. But other than that, I don't have anything else.
Okay, thank you. Jim? I mean, no, Jeff, I was looking at the assessment.
Jim's down
Yeah.
in Fort Myers.
Thanks, Jeff.
I don't know if he's.
No, just kidding. I saw him.
Yeah.
I saw him earlier.
Well, hi, everybody.
Hello.
Senior Seniors was 9:15. 40 members were in attendance. President Glenda talked about upcoming entertainment. 9:13, Frank K. Dual accordion and vocalist. 1117 neighborhood policing, team officer, Michelle, Coliano, senior, of security. A good box lunch was served. Vocalist Nancy Omet sang an assorted songs going back to the 40s. I brought senior service calendars and a door prize. 50-50 was held. St. Joe's seniors, 921. 62 members were in attendance. President Rich Chernovic welcomed everyone. A great spaghetti lunch was served. All the officers gave the report. Suzanne and myself had a few comments. Nancy, maybe you can help me with her last name.
Kahida.
She's from the University of Illinois Extension on how to select, plant, and care for trees, grass, bushes, as far as like using regular instead of killer insecticides, using homegrown stuff. Times when to put the stuff on and not to put it on. Talked about it length for quite a long time about it, took questions. I brought senior service calendars and a door prize. 50-50 raffle was held and bingo followed. Retired teachers, 928. 50 members were in attendance. President Ray Kaufman welcomed everyone. He introduced myself and I talked about how the township likes to support their group and many more. I also spoke about senior services. Their group is under new management starting January 1st. Next year, about how they're gonna get their message out as far as, I get these calendars that I take to each senior group every month. And I asked about that, they said you'd probably get that. Well, people that subscribe to their services, they get a calendar like sent to their house. That's gonna stop. As far as the Ovation magazine that comes out quarterly, they think they're gonna go along with that. I'm sort of a little disappointed because the old CEO that we were so used to ran it, everything ran like a smooth engine. I called down one day to ask about applications for the snow removal. One lady I talked to said, just go online. So then I went to their website, I couldn't find it, so I called on when I was on the website. No, you have to come down here and fill it out. Well, I was told otherwise. She said, well, I don't know who you talked to. Make a long story short, when you go down to fill the application out, they'll take a copy of your driver's license. You write down your name, address, and your birth date. At the end of the page, it says 65/disabled. So you just circle one or both. I just circled 65. And that started October 6th, which was last Thursday. And it goes through this Friday. So I've only seen a couple groups to tell about that because it's first, it used to be a lottery, now it's first come, first served. So they will notify you if you fill out an application by November, the city will notify you by November 1st, if you're accepted or not. So that's really about senior services. And I brought senior service calendars and door prize. 50-50 raffle was held and many door prizes. New seniors, 10-3, 44 members were in attendance. President Bob Pavetta introduced 3 new members. Bob also talked about the upcoming Four Winds Casino. For the first time, they've had a full bus since COVID started, which is 57 people. Now, they break it down into groups like, if you have 25, it's X amount of dollars. If you got 40, if you got a full bus, it's even less. So a full bus is like $28 a person. And when you get there, you get $20 back in stuff. So he was pretty impressed about that. In fact, they had a waiting list for the first time since COVID started. They're holding the pork dinner fundraiser October 19th. I spoke about the Veterans Lunch on October 7th. Snow removal from Joliet. Fill applications online. That's because I didn't know any better when I told them this. Depends on how much. Here it is. I brought senior service calendars, door prize. 50-50 was held. Coffee and donuts were served, or cookies. St. Paul's and Fall Lights, 10-5, 45 members were in attendance. plus a few carryouts. There was 60 paid dinners, great meatloaf was served, officers gave the reports, President Rakoff introduced myself. I thank Bob Beebe and Jim Hood for their help in the flag folding ceremony. I also talked about the Veterans Lunch, October 7th at St. Peter's Lutheran Church. Their singer was Dante Salamence. I brought senior service calendars, a door prize, and 50-50 was held. The veteran luncheon, I just guessed around 30 people were there, plus Angel, Alicia, Caesar, Susanna, myself, and staff members. A great pork loin and roast beef lunch, which catered by the American Legion Post 1080 by Steve and John. The entertainment was the ukulele moonshiners. They were great with the help from the members that were in the audience. As you see here, I got the upcoming meetings that be coming up before our next board meeting. And I usually put that at the end, but I forgot the widow and widowers that I went through this past Saturday. 10-9, 32 members were present, which is usually they get around 20. We had it in the basement of the church because they were holding a function in the field house. President Sharon Long welcomed everybody. Member Debbie Cole said opening prayer. Pastor Ed introduced me. I talked about the senior service tablet program. We've known about that. This is our second go around. Suzanne knows about that. If you qualify, I think there has income level, something like that, isn't there, Suzanne?
You have to be in the senior program,
That's-
so you have to have some kind of services
right.
from the senior center that qualifies you to
Right.
to get that tablet.
Right. Talked about the snow removal, which was from 10-6 to 10-14. I also spoke about the temporary handicap placards at the Joliet Township. Their keynote speaker was Alice Waller, Level 3 Certified Volunteer Medicare Counselor for Tennessee SHIP/injunction with the Senior Health Insurance Program per Zoom. So it broke down a couple times during the Zoom thing, but we got her back on, and she talked for at length and went through that stuff right up there on the table for the trustees. Every step through that brochure there on what to do, and took questions. She was really good. A great lunch was served. I brought senior service calendars and a door prize. Again, thank you, Anna. I really like doing this, but I want to thank all you guys and all the office holders for the great job that all you guys have done since you've been in office. I think it's a great thing that we move forward and be progressive and help everybody in the community. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Clerk Morales?
Thank you, everybody, and welcome. Mostly it's been day to day. We have been working hard with the engineers on getting the letting date for the road district for the projects that are gonna be taking place. And I know you said it was Thursday, but it's actually Friday, the 14th is the letting, at 1:30, so, I know, cause I'm ready for it.
There you go.
So we got that, the notice has been put out in the newspaper, it's on our website, people have been calling to, get the packets. So, they can put in a bid to, take a stab at getting the job. I know somebody mentioned about websites, so we redesigned our website, months back. Former Deputy Rachel Ventura, who was very talented, redid the full backbone of the township website. So if you haven't had a chance, please go in and take a look at it, because I did have contractors saying, where is the packet? And I went in there and they just had to scroll down further, and it was right there, where they could download a copy of it. But our website is really great. And I also want to give a special thank you to Anna, because she is just as talented, and she's been doing a great job of keeping the website updated, uploading things to that website. So Anna does a lot for her township. Thank you, Anna. Also, yes, I worked with our finance director on getting that audit timely submitted into the Will County Clerk's office. And for about over a year now since we started, we noticed that the handbook was pretty dated. So we've been working on it, and we had a meeting earlier, or I think last month, at the end of the month with our attorney, and there were just some updates. There's been a lot of updates actually, but some of the updates. For example, we updated some wording like director was changed to supervisor. A lot of the language referred to us as a municipality. We updated that to township. Now with this new handbook, employees all will need to sign the handbook 1 time per year. The whistleblower policy language has been updated. The mandatory sexual harassment training has been updated. That wasn't in there before. Our dress code, we do have a dress code, especially for managers and directors. Managers and directors are expected to have a professional look at all times, which we all do. We need to make sure that our public image is, professional. Other than that, the Club Social Latino, which is a senior club for completely in Spanish, did have their meeting on the 4th Sunday. Normally they have it at the Hartman Center, but the Hartman Center was already booked. So it was held at the hall at Mount Carmel Church on Jackson. They had 23 people in attendance. They did Zumba Gold for seniors. They did bingo, a loteria, and then they also had somebody come in and address how to prevent Alzheimer's, and it was all done in Spanish so people can understand. So because it is a new group, they often have times navigating, how to do these meetings formally, making sure that they have their accounting report done. We have another group that is almost certain that they have their board, and this new senior group is coming out of St. John's Church on Hickory. So I take a lot of calls from them on, what are the expectations, how do we formalize, what do you guys need to prepare? So I've been working on extra supporting these groups because they're brand new, because they've never been extended an invitation to participate. And as you heard earlier, we also have, as this township, we're responsible for taking care of our seniors and taking care of our youth. So I'm also working on the Golden Stars, Casa de la Cultura, reached out. So I've been kind of also giving them additional support, letting them know the resources that are available from the township, which then led to them submitting a grant. So muchas gracias, Fati and Leo, for being involved, for doing what you're doing, because you're doing it as a volunteer, and you're just reaching out to the community to get that extra support that you need to continue the work that you're doing to prevent, mental health, suicide, and keep the kids positive and disconnect them from tablets and more engaging with parents. So that's where I spend time, outside of after 4 o'clock in the community, helping these groups really get the services connected to the services that we offer. Other than that, like I said, it's just been day to day. So thank you. Thank you very much.
I have a question for her.
Yes.
I noticed that the minutes from the last 2 months prior to this approval for the public is not on the website, so I just wondered.
Okay, we'll get them up.
I want to say it's like July and August, and what we're approving today this is October, so we're approving September. When I went to look back, I just tried to see, like, for the public's view, anyway.
Okay, I know that we have from the day we take the minutes, there's 30 days to get them, but if it's for the last 2,
Yeah.
I'll check and I'll make sure
Okay.
that they get on there.
Thank you.
No worries. Any other questions, anybody? Next time you could have called me in advance and told me that. I would have appreciated that too.
Yeah, I
Thank
didn't
you.
notice it until 9:30 last night.
Oh,
You
this
guys
morning,
were
a
on
call
board.
would have been nice this morning, but thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
Okay.
For the public, it's not for me, it's for the
Sure,
public.
no, that's fine. Any other questions, anybody? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. And then just, for my report, just, there's gonna be a few more things added. I know last month we had stuff for PACE, nothing this month because there's nothing to approve yet. Now we're working on the verbiage for how exactly, the services we're gonna provide, right? Like, how is it gonna be within their guidelines? So that takes a little bit of time, but before any of that even gets approved, I'll send it to you all, but that takes a little longer. As it's a federal grant through PACE, so their help, the PACE, liaison is, they're helping us work on what exactly, the verbiage has to be. So that's the next step, but I think you'll hear something, there'll be something on the next board meeting. That's why we didn't have anything this time.
I'm curious if you had an estimate on the building we were looking at.
Well, well, I didn't really want to say nothing
Okay,
official.
sorry.
I didn't really, I mean, I think that's why I've been having kind of private conversations with all of you, but you will all, a notice, but an appraisal takes, 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
So, it's not something that someone just goes there and here it is. Yeah, so that's, why I've kind of been contacting all you, you know, as information's come up, but that was the next step, appraisal, and then as soon as we get something, let you all know. Because that's not something that's gonna happen, you know, overnight.
Okay.
And then other than that, that's kind of it. Everything else, we're just waiting on, that, and. Oh. Oh, God.
You did a great job.
I forget that day,
I didn't.
I guess I'll make it brief. Last weekend, I get a text message from Whitney that there is a cat stuck 20 feet in the air behind Animal Control's wall that belonged to actually somebody that was there for a vaccine clinic, and the cat got scared and got stuck behind the wall. Come Monday, I call her, the cat's still there, it's not making any noise.
Nope.
So we're thinking the worst, so I head down there with Skylar, 'cause that's when Skylar does maintenance for us on Mondays, so Monday. I head down there with impact drill and a ladder, and we start taking the place apart. We come to find that the cat is literally in the uppermost left-hand corner behind a duct, so I had to climb up. We finally saw the cat, and I climbed up there and pulled out the panels, took it out forth, grabbed a towel, put it in, carried it down, and we found the cat alive. It was, it was interesting. We did a lot of moving, checking, like moving panels and trying to find this cat. We didn't know if it was like anywhere else in the building, like it was not, so we had to find out like how the beams worked, everything, and then, yeah, it was,
It was Angel's favorite day on the job so far. I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
You saved the cat, so.
He's the cat hero.
Yeah, so yeah, and it was great. It was 2 days that the cat's owner didn't know where it was. We were just like,
Yeah, the vaccine clinic never even told him and never checked it in or anything. They didn't even tell us that it was back there.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, we took apart like not half, but we took apart a few panels of that barn wall and just climbing up and trying to find this cat, seeing where it was, and it was exactly where it climbed for 2 days straight. So that was an interesting adventure for sure. Yeah, good stuff. Never a dull moment. But I don't have anything else to add, just some of the stuff we were working on. Well, from last month will be on, updates will be on the next month's agenda. Then we have the conference in Springfield as well for TOI coming up. And then for a possible new building, once the appraisal is done, I will immediately contact you all, but 2 to 3 weeks out from that. And if there's, yes, sir.
I just forgot to say one thing. I wanna thank Anna, the good, movie taker. If anybody wants to watch this flag folding ceremony that we did at St. Paul's, Paulites, Anna did a great job. So if you wanna look at it, all you gotta do is just go on your computer, YouTube, and type in Joliet Township Government. Pops right up on what's first screen, hit it. You can adjust the volume on your computer or on your speakers or on the computer. She should be in the movies. I mean, that's how great it was. I want to thank her.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you.
We'll have to give her an Emmy or an Oscar or something.
Yes.
All right, Ray?
Okay, moving on to the financial end of the meeting here. First thing is approval of the receipts. The total cash receipts for the month were $1,405,990 and some change. And I make a motion that we place the cash receipts into their proper accounts.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Sure, trustee Slattery,
Aye?
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Ibarra? Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, moving on to the expenditures. The expenditures in the general town fund for the month were $112,989.91. And I make a motion that we certify these expenditures as being correct and that we approve them for payment.
Second that motion. Roll call, please.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye?
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, moving on to the general assistance fund. Expenditures for the month were $23,190.02. And I make a motion that we certify these expenditures as being correct and approve them for payment.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye?
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Moving on to the road and bridge fund, expenditures for the month were $153,521.08. And I make a motion that we certify these expenditures as being correct and approve them for payment.
Second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Sure. Trustee Slattery?
Aye?
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, now we come to the animal control fund, and the expenditures for the month were $62,550.26. And I make a motion that we certify these expenditures as being correct and approve them for payment.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye?
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. And now for the Joliet Township Senior Fund, expenditures for the month were $3,410. And I make a motion that we certify these expenditures as being correct and certify, we approve them and approve them for payment.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye?
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right. Thank you. Does anyone ever have any other questions or concerns before we adjourn the meeting?
Yes, no more public comment? Anybody else got anything else to say?
Go ahead.
Real quick before we go. It's a lot going on, right now as we're gearing up into, election season. So I just want to make sure that everybody is properly informed on the things that, the things that are kind of like big deals within the media and within the city. The Safety Act is one of them. There's a lot of information, there's a lot of misinformation about it. So, the proper thing to do for everybody to have the correct understanding is to attain the knowledge, for yourself. And if you can't attain that knowledge, I'm pretty sure that, there are websites, there are other avenues. I have a ton of information on it because I've been studying on it for about 2 years. But the reason why something like that is even necessary, the war on drugs started in 1977 under Richard Nixon. In 1982, Ronald Reagan declared drugs a threat to national security. He doubled down on the Nixon administration's war on drugs and called for new laws to impose prison sentences for drug use. So, right there, even at the beginning, people who were drug abusers didn't necessarily need to be incarcerated. They may have just needed help. So, moving forward right now, the Public Safety Act that's getting passed, part of that Safety Act is so that low-level drug offenses, those people are getting the proper help that they need.
That's why they moved it, and they call it no bond, but it's not really, like, bonds don't exist anymore. What happens is that people who get caught for nonviolent crimes or low-level drug offenses, they get the proper programming they need to reenter society and be productive members of society, instead of being held in jail for a $500 or $600 bond that they may not, you know what I'm saying, they might not have the money for, which will put themselves or their family deeper into poverty and, you know, despair. So they're trying to correct that situation and put equity into the judicial system. And then when it comes to violent crimes and higher level offenses, there's also a lie going around saying that people won't have bonds, right? Well, it's not that people won't have bonds, it's just that the state is moving to the Fed system where people will have a bond hearing instead of actually having a bond and being able to bond out for any amount of money for any offense. I'm gonna give you an example. There was a teacher in Joliet that murdered his wife a few years ago. It was a heinous crime. He beat her to death. It took like 3 days for her to pass. But ultimately, he got a $2 million bond. He bonded out of jail. He's still out of jail while he's awaiting trial. And this happened about 4 years ago now. So because of his financial situation, he's able to walk the streets among us and sit down next to you at McDonald's, you know, and who's to say he might not have another fit of rage, right? But situations like that are avoided by having the detention hearings, which will put the power to keep somebody incarcerated until their trial date would be in the hands of the judge instead of in the hands of the state's attorney, or, you know what I mean? It won't be bond suggestions like that, it'll be actual detention hearings. So those are like actual factual things that that people need to understand. That's what's going on. That's kind of a big deal. There was a lot of misinformation about it at first, so much so that there were commercials on TV, even from our own state's attorney. There were commercials on TV saying that the Public Safety Act was a threat to society, that he would have to let all 640 people in the jail out, and it was absolutely false and fictitious. So much so that they pulled his commercials off of TV because they're not true. Even his Facebook ads and everything like that, they started getting fact checked and blocked, because you can't just go around, you know, spread misinformation to the people, especially when you're a public official. So yeah, that's a few things that are going on. I just want everybody to make sure that during this election season, you properly educate yourself with the things that are happening, because there are a ton of things happening that's on the ballot that can impact people directly or indirectly. Thursday at the Land Use and Legislation meeting, we have me and some other members of the community have what's called a Civilian Police Reform Board. It's a CRB board, which will put accountability into the hands of the citizens for misconduct by the police, right? So that a panel of citizens will be able to review the actual repercussions that officers found guilty of misconduct.
What time is it Thursday?
Four.
It's at 4.
4.
Yeah, at 4 p.m. Thursday. And so that, we've been working on that for like 2 years. And it's a lot of situations where officers get kind of, you know, they get away with a lot of things. We all are appreciative of the service that they provide our communities, but there are, you know, as with every job, there are people that misuse and abuse, you know, their jobs. And so sometimes it's always necessary for a checks and balance system. And when it's not a checks and balance system, sometimes things kind of get away from how they were originally planned to be. So if anybody's interested in that, Thursday at 4 o'clock, come out to the Land Use and Legislation meeting. We'll try to have some kind of information there to kind of catch everybody up to speed on what they're actually going to be voting on. And just going to keep doing things, you know, for the community and for the betterment of people, so that we can have the social, economic, and political equity that should be, you know, for every community.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Farrell.
I just want to say that the seniors dinner was so much fun. The entertainment, what was it, the Whiskey Moonshiners? They were just so funny. And I only got to stay for an hour because I walked over from work. but they were very entertaining. The seniors loved the food was amazing. I had no idea the 1080 Post catered food that was that good. So it was a really good time, like a feel-good time for all of our senior veterans. Thank you.
All right, thank you. If there's nothing else, then can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a second?
Second motion.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Farah?
Aye.
Trustee Farah?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right,
Meeting adjourned at
adjourned at
6:05.
6:05. Yep.